Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and deceased. My name is Emily Sophia, and I am going to be breaking down for you, with a broken heart, the mid-season finale of Season 4, Too Far Gone. So, spoiler alert, for those of you who are not caught up on the madness, unless my tears in and of themselves are a spoiler for you. I'm not sure. So, oh, gross. Oh my god. I have like snot everywhere. You know how some people can like work out without so much as like breaking a sweat? They just kind of like glisten. And some people, like people in the movies, can like cry without like their snot just like making like Niagara Falls down their face. Well, I am neither of those people. So I know that's exactly what you wanted to know right now, but I just tried to watch a little bit of The Talking Dead after that episode because I needed to see his face one more time. And then I felt 1,000 times worse because Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie, was like in just as much of shambles as I was. So it was just like, she was just enabling my distress that I'm in right now. So I just thought, well, I'm going to just come and lay it all out here for you guys because that's just how I deal with things, I guess. For those of you who saw my review of the Dexter series finales, well, I don't imagine I'll be reaching that point. But I was in pretty deep distress, agony from like about halfway through the episode because I knew it was going down, and just the Herschel's fate became incredibly palpable for me, and just with every reasonable discussion that he attempted to have with the governor and telling him, you know, that like you think that by, you know, getting the prison you're going to be making a life for the people you love, but in order to do that you're going to be hurting other people who are also loved, you know. And he was talking about how, you know, like my daughter is there, you're gonna be hurting her. And I immediately thought back to the last season with the whole stripping nonsense that happened with Maggie and the governor. It's like, oh honey, he has already hurt her and you far more than you will ever know. And just seeing him cling to that hope that there can be a togetherness, that there can be a way in all of this. It's like, every time we get this awesome, badass moral compass, somebody's gotta go, you know, get it under their heel and give it a good crush. That was just, I mean, you know, a lot of people really didn't like, they weren't fond of Lori. Lori was a generally not very well liked character for, you know, numerous reasons, but when she died, I mean, I was pretty broken in all of that. Just the way that all went down was a bit of a mood killer. I shed a pretty little tear too. And this time, it was a solid like 20 times as bad. I mean, I was sitting there just like clenching my face, like attempting to rip my skin off just to distract myself from how bad I felt and how bad I feel. I mean, God, that was just absolutely insane. And I knew too that when Megan got chomped, I knew that the governor was gonna find out, and that was just going to push him like even further into his spiral of violence, and just the tension of everything, and the fact that he had his sword there at Herschel's neck. And if I'm not mistaken, that was Michonne's, right? I'm not a total idiot there, right? I'm pretty sure that was Michonne's weapon. I mean, obviously, since he kind of took them captive, he could kind of take whatever he wanted. So, you know, if that was her katana, then the fact that he freaking murdered Herschel with Michonne's sword is just, well, I mean, you know, karma came back to him pretty fast. And as much as I wanted to be satisfied that everything ended with the person who started it all, I still just felt like, you know, sinking through the floorboards and into the abyss of Hades a little, because life is slightly a lot less worth living right now. Oh, I have like a pain in my chest, like an actual physical pain. God. Yeah, so for one episode, we got quite a body count, and the only thing that I can think of is the fact that Christmas is canceled. That's, everybody was kind of making that joke beforehand, you know, all kind of in this nervous haze of saying our tentative goodbyes to Herschel because of how absolutely and utterly wonderful he has become, you know. I actually tweeted out before the episode, I was like, you know, I'm saying this now because I'm scared. I love you, Herschel Green, and, you know, I hope he heard those words before he took his dying breath. And just what, like, crumpled me internally even further was the fact that Herschel didn't die right then and there. Like, 'cause he hacked him in the neck, you know, like he was getting ready to hew down a tree. And then we just see, you know, everything's flying, the party is in motion, and Michonne is trying to make her way around, and we see that she's right on the other side of the truck. And Herschel's there dragging himself across the ground, and then the governor gets to him and he finishes the freaking job. And I have been on an emotional roller coaster like none other with that freaking character. I mean, I'm glad that he's gone now. It was a fascinating journey, to be sure, but there is absolutely no place, there is no warmth left in my soul for this guy. The last ember has been, you know, dumped into the ocean, which is now my soul, because my eyes are crying outward and inward. So that just about douses out any fire that there might have been. I mean, just to think that there's just been such dynamics in this season like never before. I mean, this is one of the best seasons yet, in that it has drawn from me the most powerful emotional reactions of any of the seasons previously. I mean, even in the midst of all the crazy stuff with Woodbury and God, I mean, you know, let's look at the positives. We've got our man Daryl. He, like, of course, you know, as soon as we see this walker, like, coming up behind him as he's trying to, like, hold off all the guys that are shooting at him, you know, it's like right as the zombie is about to lunge, we cut to the other scene. I think it was cutting to a scene of the governor and Nicolas Cage having a hoedown, throwdown outside, but yeah, like the fact that they're making us wonder, you know, at every turn, we just had to brace ourselves to lose everyone. And then, okay, and then with Judith at the end, like, you know, I had a lot of friends who were predicting that what had happened, and for the next minute, brief spoilers about the comics. I've actually had this spoiled for me, and I'm not there yet in the comics, so you can join me in the state of spoiledness if you want to. But in the comics, Lori got gunned down when she was running with Judith, and that was how she died in the comic story. So a lot of people were thinking that that was going to happen with Beth, because Beth was the primary caregiver for Judith in their situation at the prison. And when she was like, I'm going to go get Judith, I could just feel my heart like, like I could just feel, you know, another green is about to bite the dust. And I just, oh my God, like, and the way that Rick freaking looked like when he got up off the ground after, you know, Michonne got her vengeance at long, sweet last. And the way that he looked when he was, you know, dragging himself back to the prison trying to find Carl, who was definitely holding his own. You know, nobody's thinking about him. He's doing what he do best now. But just the way that he looked, like, it just so, it looked like he crawled out of his own grave. I mean, there was just such a power in so many of the performances in this episode. It was crazy to me. It's always tough to watch Andrew Lincoln cry. It's always, oh man, he's just got this like, this sort of like puppy dog thing to him, and yet I don't know, it makes me feel so sick, like if I didn't already from losing Papa Hershey, my sweet little Hershey bar. Yeah, it was just nuts. You know, gotta look on the positives, being that we have Daryl. You know, we got the Grimes guys. They're taken off into the woods. As far as I know, this is another way in which the show is kind of intersecting with the comics, because apparently after the big prison showdown in the comics, I think everyone splits up and kind of goes their different ways, and everything is sort of in this haze, you know? So that's going to be really interesting to deal with in the second half of the rest of the season, is to see who finds their way back to one another, if anyone, like how long are things going to run parallel, who goes with who, because we had the bus take off, we had a lot of people who were still on the ground, but all we know is that Rick and Carl are just, you know, after the loss of Judith like that. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't show anything. I didn't think that they were, because, well, they don't have an issue with it's more like in video games where they try not to like kill off children specifically, but man, it just, the Grimes girls are no more. I mean, as far as we know, it's just our main guys, and who knows, maybe Ghost Lori is going to be making a comeback, because I dare say that Rick is going to be in quite a place of not wanting to contend with reality, because I'm in that same place myself in my life, so God. Yeah, so I mean, there's still some outlying questions, you know, like what's in Mr. Bob's mystery box, and what is up with the rat thing on the wall, and you know, of course, I'm really glad that we got to see the scene where Rick told Daryl the truth about what happened with Carol, and his reaction kind of aligned with what I was expecting for that, you know, because I mean, Daryl and Rick, they're brothers, you know, they've bonded throughout all this time, and so I would have been surprised if Daryl started wailing on Rick, kind of like what happened with Tyrese earlier on. Even though you'd think that with the way that they've done the character dynamics and relationships in the show so far, you would think that that would be reversed. You know, that, like, the closer you are, the more likely you are to, like, you know, draw more blood when there's a discord between you and someone else. I mean, that's just kind of the way this stuff seems to go sometimes, but, you know, they have a bond and they have an understanding between them, and so I think that Daryl was really able to exercise a lot of self-control in that situation when he found out about what happened to Carol. I do believe that she's going to come back, and a lot of people were thinking that, you know, Carol was going to swoop in to, like, save the day in this episode, but, you know, unless she managed to, like, develop telekinetic superpowers, you know, like maybe some, you know, she stumbles across some nuclear plant that has been compromised because of the apocalypse, she gets mutated, she gets powers, and she can, like, you know, lift with her mind, like, you know, go find some, like, military base and get all the weapons and crap and just rip everything open, take all her stuff and, like, make it rain on the, you know, Woodbury V2.0, but that wasn't exactly gonna happen. Or unless, you know, the car that she was left with happened to be, like, chitty chitty bang bang and she just comes, like, flying out of nowhere. Or, you know, there's a lot of ways, like, trying to think of how she could have practically come into the scene. There was just no way for that to happen. And of course, you know, so Tyrese still doesn't know, but now the group and the council, suffice it to say, is very much disbanded. So there's a lot of mystery, and I like that. But this is not going to be an episode that I'm going to go back and rewatch in future marathons, I dare say. You know, I'm kind of in the same boat with, like, the Dexter series finale. It's just like, I can't watch that ever again. It happened. It's in my blood. It's in my bones. I can't do nothing about it, and I don't want to inundate myself any further because, you know, I don't exactly want to be trapped in a state of, like, inescapable depression. I like to be happy sometimes, and I do enough as it is, falling in love with these shows and injuring myself in that way. So, yeah, I'm a TV sadist. If you are too, put it up. You know, we'll hash it out together. We'll cry about unnecessary things. You should have seen my family, like, as I'm trying to watch The Talking Dead, and I just am like, no. Nobody in my household understands my propensity for emotion with this stuff. And, yeah, I was being made merciless fun of. And if you're in that same boat, I just want to say we stand in solidarity together and we cling to this ridiculous crap, you know, come what may. Rain or shine, sickness and health, this is life. This is what we signed up for. I would say, like, I did not sign up for this, but I kind of did. It's the apocalypse. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I miss him. I miss him already. I hate everything. I mean, I guess the good thing, the good thing, I use that term very lightly, is that since everyone's going to, as far as we know, be kind of scattered, we'll have like the sort of dark joy of seeing everyone possibly reunite later on, or some people, or I have no idea. I'm not caught up in the comics yet, so I don't really know, like, what to expect or theorize per se. But, you know, it's not as if, you know, we're still going to have the group and we really will feel that absence immediately. Maybe I'm wrong, you know. Maybe it's just the sorrow talking and I'm trying to, you know, dig as deep a hole of denial as I possibly can. But another rule of the apocalypse is don't go digging holes, because as far as you know, like, you dig a hole for kicks making peanut butter sandwiches and you dig your grave. I was really sad for Megan, and you know, that scene where Lily comes out carrying her in her arms and everything is in motion, and it was just, whew, devastation and a half. Like, I didn't know it could get to this point in the show, but I should have expected it. Yeah, I'm really glad that Lily dealt the final blow, and that, like, the journey reached full fruition. I mean, it's like, in a sense, you could say that it's her fault for telling the governor to take her somewhere new and to get them to somewhere better, and etc., etc., but it's like, you know, you just never know in a world like that. She was doing her best, and the governor looks pretty good clean shaven, so, you know, it's like, can't let a good looking man go in times such as this, where they are quite few. But yeah, no, I don't miss him at all. I shed, you know, no one mourns the wicked, and this girl sure ain't. But I do mourn my Herschel very deeply, and I would give anything to resurrect him for no apparent reason. I think that Rick should be haunted by Ghost Herschel next. You know, if we have to, like, pick a new ghost for Rick, that's what I vote. I just want him there somehow for me, you know. Or maybe it's like they should make the next part of the season so that if you wear, like, some special glasses, like, you can, like, see Herschel there. You take them off and it's like just the episode, but it's like if you put on the glasses you can see, like, Herschel hanging out saying something awesome, you know, cooking up a dish for Spaghetti Tuesday. That's what I will invest in that technology, because again, you know, denial is gonna be my bread and butter for the next well, the rest of my lifetime as I cope with this. Yeah. Oh, mercy. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this episode and everything, the questions you have, and just, yeah, and, well, it'll also be interesting to see what happens with the other girls who are at the prison, who took out, it was Tara's girlfriend. I think that was really quite shocking there. And just, again, like, it was such a blowout. Like, they did not let us rest, not for a second. And I mean, that's a good thing, but dang, I am going to go engorge myself on cookies and cream ice cream. Maybe weep a little more unexpectedly. I just can't tell you. Life is sort of a barren wasteland, and I'm gonna do my best to make my way through it. So if you need a support group, I am here for you. I promise. We will embrace one another, and we will drink deep the fond memories of our dearly badass Santa Claus, of our beloved Hershey bar. He'll be there with us, and that's all there is to say. At the end of the day, that was killer. I'm not gonna keep going on too much longer here because I need to go attend to my sanity, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for the first half of season 4, and I will be back for the next one if I don't have a surprise heart attack later on down the road. Just one of those, like, sneaker deaths from, like, hidden misery, because I know I'm going to try and deny this. But yeah, so you guys take care. We will make it together. I am here for you. Tweet me, Facebook me, hit me up on Tumblr. Those are the main places where you can reach me right now. But yeah, we will make this work. We will be in denial together, I promise. Mwah. Take my kisses, take all my love, and I will be back before you know it. The next show I review will be a mystery, but I don't intend to stop here. So I think that if Herschel is here, he would want me to go on. So that is what I'm gonna endeavor to do. So y'all take care. Don't drown in a sea of sorrow, or, you know, at least I'll be there. I'll try and bring some pool noodles though. Alright guys, See ya.